Well, once again, it's time, my friends, for another meet and greet. We're Southern Fried and nationwide, so hang on to your seat. Look around, here's what I found. I guess you'll never know what you'll see on the Southern Fried Podcast Show. Yeehaw!
And good morning. How is everyone out there? Dave in the AM, Tuesday Talk. I thought I'd do a little bit of a program. Day after Labor Day, headed back to work, getting back in the grind. Hope everybody enjoyed their day off. We certainly had a good time out and about. Beautiful day. Kind of running in different directions and really enjoyed family time and just hanging out and doing some things that out with the community, and then just spending some time at home. Many of you will be back, getting back to work today, and but you got a shorter work week. That's always nice. And enjoyed the program last night. We get things fixed up here. Sorry, saving our other intro for Rob's back. We may be back this evening. Who knows? But certainly by tomorrow morning, and we'll highlight our veteran suicide. We want to make sure that information gets out there. Well, weather got a little warmer yesterday than I thought it was going to, but so it still has an opportunity to really heat up, but not as bad. But the temperatures are going to be better going forward in our area this week, and I'm thankful for that. As we've been mentioning, get that football weather in the air, a little bit of breeze, leaves start falling here before long. That'll be great. There was a football game last night, and not a good one for Florida State. I mean, man, as this team really, I don't dislike Florida State. I like Florida State, but I just wonder what in the world has happened to them. I mean, they look really soft in their run defense, and they just took it to them, and the pressure has really got to be on down there. I can't imagine what they're feeling right now with this kind of a start with their fans and the administration and everything else. It's truly amazing when you see something like this. I mean, you start your season, everybody has, high hopes, and you play. Certainly one school was better than what we would thought with 2 unranked teams, but playing like this, they'll be ranked soon. I mean, they took it to them, just absolutely grinded it out. Florida State had nothing for them defensively on the run defense, and right up the gut too. And good morning, Tar Man. I was on the air through the first part of the program of the game, and I went in there and turned it on, and it wasn't Florida State had just scored, but then it was when they had that penalty, just a horrible penalty on the kickoff, and the guy just goes down the field and he just obliterates a guy that's not even. I mean, all he had to do was run by him. The guy's not even looking at him, and he just pile drives him. Just knocks him down. Of course, that's 15, and so that gives the Boston College then another 15 yards closer, and they just drove it. They just drove the field. So, the coach is beside himself. They feels like they're probably getting back in the game, and it just went downhill from there. But it's really astonishing. I didn't anticipate this. And there's always some team that happens to every year that, and except obviously they didn't play their players. They didn't finish strong against Georgia, but they had a good year. But some losses, obviously every team has them, NFL, whatever. But man, I mean, it's the hot seat is on. And if you go back to Sunday night, and LSU was a great game, but of course they come up short in the press conference with the coach, and he's pounding the table. And it seemed to me he come very close to really in the press conference. Good morning, Daniel. So are you saying Hyde, this is Sugar Britches, or are you calling me that? I'm just trying to figure that out, brother. But anyway, he came really close to really, I think, throwing his team under the bus, and he caught himself and he said, well, that's on me. That's coaching, Mister Sugar Britches, throwing his coaching staff there. But I got you, brother, and good morning to you. But yeah, he really thrashed. He was really thrashing the sideline. He basically did, but he was really close to call him out, and he just pounded the table and uh, not the start they wanted. I mean, he was brought in with a lot of fanfare, a lot of money, a lot of big talk, a lot of recruiting. Obviously he come in thinking he's going to win not only the SEC. Robert, Daniel, give me just a second. Let me finish this thought before I forget it or I'll lose it, and I'll explain. But not only has he not done that, they've had some critical breakdowns in games, and not only not winning the SEC, not winning the national championship, the pressure's mounting. Now, Oklahoma and Texas coming in. It's intensified. Of course, that's not an SEC game, but it still hurts them. So we'll see what week 2 holds. Georgia has Tennessee Tech, and they have a few injuries, nothing major, but Michael Williams, they didn't want to call it a high ankle sprain. They said it's higher than the ankle. I don't know, but he's probably not going to play, and I wouldn't anticipate him playing against Tennessee Tech, but get him healthy. Got a few things to work out, but it'll be a great game for him to work on that. And get moving. So there's some good matchups that'll be coming on board. But what a start. I mean, just what a start. And of course, there's some teams that's flying high right now, and there's some teams that's flying low. Well, Daniel Robert is not usually here on Tuesday. This is just an added morning show that I do sometimes, and I don't know if I did one last week or not. I don't remember, but that's why it's not called the morning show. It is Dave in the AM Tuesday Talk. He has another online thing that he does on Tuesday mornings. So they're right in the middle of that right now and meeting. So it's not possible for him to be here. And we had only planned on doing the 3, but sometimes if things are going good in my morning, I like to get up and kind of get my day started with you. So, and Thursday's kind of the same way. It's kind of maybe not, just depends. This morning I was running a little bit behind. That's why you see me putting my headphones on at the last minute to come on. I was trying to get going this morning. I was a little bit tired. Headed back to work myself. I've got some things I need to do. I need to probably take a day off and do that, but with yesterday was kind of filled. But oh yeah, Tarman, that's a good point. We'll pop that up there. Yeah, there's a lot of people unhappy about a lot to do with games, and this has to do with not only college but pro and really different sports, and it has diversified so much. I mean, you got some games that are exclusive to. I mean, the blackouts are been a problem. I dealt with the Braves. A lot of Atlanta Braves fans are not happy about. I mean, they've watched them from years on the same thing, and now and we loved, my wife especially loves to watch them. I just went ahead and for the season, went ahead and got a Fubo subscription so that we could do that. And I'd actually bought the MLB package so that she could watch, if she wanted to watch other games. But then they blacked out on the Braves. I'm like, come on. So that's a problem. And then like NFL, some games will be Peacock only. It is a problem, and there are people that are not happy about it, but they're making these exclusive deals. And so if you want to watch your team on that particular, and you know what, it's effective. It makes people mad, and some people won't watch, but there are those people that are going to come on. They're going to pay the money because they want to watch their team. And so, I mean, it's all over the place. But I know DirecTV sometimes, but it happens. And these negotiations go on not only with Direct. These negotiations go on with other providers too. And sometimes they play hardball, and you lose your favorite programming. I remember a few years ago, the local one of the local TV shows channels here in Chattanooga. There was a problem with them, and they were doing a campaign wanting people to contact and all that. But yeah, it's a new world. I remember when we first. I mean, of course, there was no cable at one point, and then we got cable, but there was only one cable provider at the time, and I mean, basically, you could say they had a monopoly. And it's really just now with the streaming opened up, and I really anticipated this. And what I wish would happen is this is what I really wish would happen with programming and streaming and all of that is, of course, the problem is the agreements. But I wish that you could just cater. I don't want your package. Let me make my own package, because I'm going to tell you about 90 to 95% of the package that you get, I don't want anyway. Let me pick out. There's probably only, I used to say 15 or so things, but honestly, it's probably 10 or less that I even watch. But whatever that is, whatever that number would be, what channels do I want in this package? And then give me a price for that package. And I would be more than happy to do that. But I don't want to have to pay for all these channels that I don't want. But that's my dream world. That's not going to happen, I'm sure. But that's what I would like to see. I mean, sometimes you can get packages, and some are scaled down, but obviously they're going to keep some things out that they feel like you want to upscale to the next package to. But there are people that do the bare minimum. And of course, there's all kinds of things out there. I know people that are doing, paying for some things, and they bounce through different signals and stuff. It's highly controversial. I know people that are buying those through different people. And, there's a lot of that goes on, and, it's, people get frustrated, and, they don't want their TV messed with, obviously. Or now I say TV, really, we're talking about streaming. We're talking about, people are watching through their phones. They cast to maybe a TV screen, from their phone or wherever. But everything's on the go now. I mean, wherever you go, people are watching TV while they're commuting, or listening. You go to a ball game. Look at people watching their kids at the Little League game. Unless their kids up to bat, or they're glancing, they're watching it. If there's another ball game on, let's say it's one of the big college games, and you hear all these cheers go off or hollering, and it's people trying to multitask and watch their favorite football team while their kids out playing in the little league or whatever, 5, 6-year-old or whatever it is. And that's just where we're at. So it's all about that. And that really, when that happened, I mean, the streaming, that really just opened up. I mean, as we say, the barn door was open. It's not going to be closed back. And where does it go from here? And then, there's a lot of talk. I mean, I think it's Truth Network, social network. They're talking about TV, having a conservative. There's all these people trying to corner that market because they know there are consumers that do not want a lot of things, and they want to cater to that. There's even talk about Elon doing that because there's a lot of money to be had, and of course, if you have them coming to your network, you basically have this massive audience that it's just like with your social. But if you're doing that through your social and you have all these options, you have them there for other programs and things that you want to promote. Mike Lindell, I mean, his Frank speech. I mean, he's people that follow him, and he's been growing that for now, 3 or 4 years or whatever it is. And they have a lot of people. I mean, Lou Dobbs, of course, he passed away. Lou Dobbs had went with him, and I'd watched some of his programs over there. So whether you might like him, whether you like his programming or not, it's out there, and there's a lot of people that are pushing that way. That's a great. I mean, it's a fun discussion. I'm not as knowledgeable about it probably as I should be to really comment on all of it because I don't watch a lot of TV. Honestly, I just watch shows. But I do have things downloaded on my phone, so if I want to watch it, that I can, and it's available. I know you're coming in through Rumble, and when I have time, I watch a lot of things on Rumble. I do, but that's not the only one. And because we're on Rumble, and so sometimes I'll watch over there just to watch our programs. I bounce around. I watch us or rewatch us, or if I'm not on the program, or if I'm watching Robert, I'll pull that from different streams that we have and, give it some view minutes. Sometimes that might be Facebook. Sometimes it's YouTube. I'll go over to Rumble. I'll watch it on X or one of the others. Because all of that, all that's measured and watched and everything. And you want the algorithms and all that crazy. Speaking of that, we've been on X now for, I don't know, a couple of months, maybe a couple of months. I think so. A good solid 2 months. And it bounces all over the place. You just never know how those people are going to find you. It doesn't matter how many people are following you. There's a lot of variables with that, and who's in what. There's a lot of talk on there about that if you follow that. And some of it may just be their frustration because they feel like they should have more, contact. And I get it. They're trying to monetize or whatever. But it does seem, and I just kind of watch it and see how it goes. And sometimes we'll post things. This is like that with anything. You'll have things that just explode. Then it's almost like Ghost Town. Like you go in the old, like I said, you go into the old town and there's tumbleweeds coming across. You're wondering, is anybody here? You see a horse at some building, you're thinking, well, there's at least one person. I mean, it's kind of what it feels like. And honestly, it can feel like that on any of them. It's not just them. But okay, I like to see what this one is. That's interesting. Because I'm not in the chat, I can turn off my screen and then just listen. Okay, that's an option. That's a good option. And I do like Rumble. We have to set those up a little different, but it's not hard. In fact, I've got to show Robert how to do it because if he goes live, he doesn't include Rumble. And it's not that he doesn't want to. He just doesn't know how, because that's always been part of, we all work on different things. And Rumble has been one that I have been started and been working with. So I've just got to get him the information of how to do it. Usually what I'll do, and really if I just know that he's going to do something, I can go ahead and set up the stream. And when he goes in there, it's just different from the other streams. You have to, with Rumble, you have to select it when we go in to do the live broadcast. Before we ever go live, we have to select it and we have to do a drop down and select that show. That's really the only difference, but you have to set that show up. But now I've got templates saved in there, and it really takes just seconds. I mean, all your information is saved. Now this morning I created a different one because I didn't have one for this one, Dave in the AM. So I did do that, and it didn't take me really that much longer, just a few seconds to do that. But just the more streamlined you can make something, the better it is, and the quicker it is. So sometimes we're switching gears really fast. And a lot of our programming is live, but they're spread out. So like tonight, I don't know if we're going to be live with anything or not, but let's say if it's a Wednesday, and I set up live to do a Wednesday, then I would go in and already have Hump Day News already set up for him. Again, it's just if he's going to, because most of the things he does, if we're not around, we're not doing them live. Well, I do a couple, but he does like the pets of the week and stuff, and those are usually recorded. But he has went live with them, and then it's no big deal. I just have to go back and download it and upload it to Rumble. So I always make sure that it gets there. So, but yeah, it's interesting how all these things work together, and you're trying to make them work and. It's interesting. I was going around yesterday and you saw the videos I did. I would love to have had more. Just kind of ran out of time. People were busy. You have to make sure you're not impeding on their business or whatever. But it was really neat just to be able to load those up at least on Facebook at the time. And then later I started putting them up on the other streams. And there are some things you can get which will do some of that for you, but some of it you just have to do individually. So it's all good. It just takes a little time. I do it mostly from my phone, which is nice. I'm not stuck behind a desk or something doing that. and I can do it wherever I'm at. So if I need to upload, in fact, there's a few things I need to upload to Spotify and Apple Podcasts for us, and I'll take care of those today. In and around my day and what I'm doing, I'll just start those uploads and get them going. But hey, I hope you have a great day today. Again, it's a kind of weird when you start on a different when you start on a Tuesday. It it feels weird, because it throws you off a day. Sometimes you feel like you're a day early. Sometimes you feel like you're a day late. But it is closer to the weekend, we could say. And again, by the end of the week in our area, it's going to be like 70s. That's nice. I'm so excited about that because it's not really been, the temperature has been high, but it's the humidity. That's what really gets us. Again, last night was really excited to have an old friend on, filling in for Rob, and had a great time. And I didn't really, we talked about a lot of stuff, and it was emotional. I mean, and it was emotional to him, and he just his journey. And I think those are good things for people to hear. I think it's encouraging to other folks, and just seeing where he's at, and we're hopeful going forward that he's going to have a part in this because he's really a natural for it, and he's fixing to do a journey, some travel, and we're hoping he'll kind of pop in and show us some beautiful locales and kind of talk about things that are going on in those areas. And he's open to doing that and mentioned it. And I know we'd be very excited to have him do that and kind of have roving reporters, kind of like having my sister out in Nevada. Sometimes we pop out there and talk about what things are going on in her neck of the woods, so to speak. So it allows us to bring in people from different areas, and they will actually be moving around. They're doing some travel and be camping and RVing or whatever it is. So that would be neat. So I hope you enjoyed that. Me and Paul did a lot of podcasting together for ministry over the years, and I didn't realize how long we did that. He was mentioning it last night, how long we did that. And just, truly amazing. Again, kind of coming full circle. Talked to Rob last night. His mission went well. Again, not trying to be super secret, but it's his business, and nothing bad. But it is something that it's emotional for him, and I think that we'll talk about it because there was if he figured out how to get it downloaded, we'll wait till tomorrow. But he said that there is a video about 18 minutes, I think, and he said that if I wanted to show it, we'd show it. So, but we'll wait till he's back, and we'll talk about that this evening or something. Again, won't have an opportunity to speak to him this morning because he's in another meeting. And then late last night, and I don't know that he is listening in, but it was so good to see Chris like one of the videos over in one of the streams. And he's on the mend. He's feeling better. He's gonna rebound really quickly, and I'm excited about that. Cook is better, and we're hoping to do a wrap-up sports show. We may try to do that today from the weekend games, and we're kind of getting ready for our fantasy sports for the crew and getting ready for that kickoff. And we'll be posting those things to let you know how we're doing. Who's going to have the bragging rights here? I don't have a clue, but it'll be fun. And I'm trying to think of, Tarman, what do you mean by that? Overrides other media. Just give me a little more detail there. I'm not sure of what you mean there when you say overrides. But I do like Rumble. And there's a lot of the people that I like to, and really, I guess every major podcaster or even others have programs on Rumble, and it seems to work well. It's a really steady platform. I wish that there's some others that I wish would get their game together and we can live stream to them, but they're really, either they don't offer it yet, or you have to be at a certain level with your followers, or pay extra money, or It's very limiting. Uh, oh yeah, yeah, I get that. Absolutely get that. It really is frustrating, right? When you're watching something and um, yeah, that's frustrating. And some of them, that's what I mean. Some of them just need to do a better job with the way they do that. I get you, man. That's what I was trying to figure out what you meant there. It is very frustrating. Uh, but there are some of them we do post up to Instagram, and Instagram we can go live, and we may start trying to do it. But the problem is Instagram. Well, there's a couple of problems. One, you can't. This, and again, this is just what I mean. They need to get their act together. You have to. You can only do that from a computer to set it up. You can do it once you have it set up from anything, but you have to have it set up. Another restriction they have, which won't work for us most of the time, is it's 1 hour limit. I mean, and so at the end of that hour, you just be cut off. I don't like that. That's a little too restrictive. I get it. If you want to say an hour and a half, 2 hours, that's probably going to take in most programming, and it would most of ours except for one program. But 1 hour exact. I mean, come on. So there, we do have it set up, or a part kind of in it. We have it in the stream to on our end on StreamYard. We have it ready, but we have to go into Instagram and set that up. And it's a little bit jumping through hoops, and I've not done it before, but we may try that if we know we're going to have a program that's going to be shorter than that's alive, shorter than an hour. Then we might try that and see where that goes. But that's just the thing. I think as this thing kind of goes, more and more of these are going to make that a lot easier, because you know what, they're going to get left behind. I mean, Instagram's powerful. They're not too concerned. I mean, they're massive as far as a platform and how many people use that. I mean, they dwarf some of the others, but at the same time, you don't want your platform to be limiting in areas where they can grow. And I think this is an area where they're just going to have to change that model or feature about their platform. But there's a couple of others out there that I would like to see kind of open that up. I would love for the day that we can go live and there's 10 streams to 10 different platforms that are going on, just because that makes it easier. It's just out there. We'd still load it in, but it saves time. And plus they're getting it right then. It's up on their screen. Some of them have a slight delay, and I get that. So I've pulled them up. Some are fairly close. I mean, really close, but some are a few seconds. So when you're watching it, we're just a little bit ahead of you. But if you're watching it, you wouldn't know that anyway. So if we're a little bit slower on your comment, that's why, or we're just busy at the time and don't notice it. That happens too. We welcome all of you in here. Again, we started yesterday, and I didn't play it this morning. I'm going to wait for Rob to get back. But we started, we're going to do 22 days. We're using the baseline number 22, unfortunately. That is the baseline number, probably a lot higher. We talked about it yesterday, actually, me and Rob. So 22 a day, this would be 44. Just when we talk about today, yesterday and today, be 44 veteran suicides at the minimum. And this number will be unfortunately growing as we go each day for the 22 days. We want to highlight that and let people know there's resources out there. The stories are all over the place of people that, just like George, who in the movie The Keeper, or the story about him, who was intended to, and things intervened and stopped that. We hear those stories, but there's also those. In fact, our Veteran of the Week this week is going to be it's going to be a young man who, unfortunately, he's one of the 22 of whatever day it was. Yeah, that's true, brother. Expensive, right? And if you grow your platform, depending on what you're doing with it, you can run into a lot of money. So you have to consider that on how much, because of the bandwidth and everything that it takes up. So these people do have to monetize to pay those bills, because it can be very expensive. We're small potatoes compared to some of those, but there are some costs. But we've nothing bad, and again, it's we're just enjoying what we're doing. I'm hoping. I don't know if it'll come in today or tomorrow. I ordered the first thing from our store, and it's a hat, and I'm hoping to have that by Wednesday. I think it's going to come in Wednesday, though, so it might be Wednesday night before I can wear the hat, see how that looks. So We'll get it in, check it out, kind of be the model for it. I'm not a good model, but at least you can see the hat. And I noticed this morning I went in there early, and there's still a bit of work I got to do. Some of the logos are not positioned where they are, and I think they just missed that. It's so much. It's hours and hours and hours of work. There's so many different options, and you got to make sure you look at every page. And I noticed some of them, so we're going to get in there today and fix those. But happy to get the hat in. There are options. Some of them are higher. Some of them are, in today's time, there's some that are reasonable. And so there's we don't have a clearance area, so to speak, but there are some that are not real bad. So I think with my discount and everything, I think it was about $20. So not bad. Not bad. Now there are things that are more, and we're running, I think that 20% off runs through today. And all we got to do is go in there and set another one. So we'll run some options like that and give some people some discounts. It'll save you on the shipping if nothing else. So every little bit helps. Well, let's run a commercial or two, real short. Won't run a lot. By the way, I want to run the promo for Angie's Diner, and one of them, and she, it was pretty nice over the weekend. And I just want to make this point because I think it's interesting if people realize the power that we offer them and what we're doing for them. And I think I know I'm pretty sure she's appreciative of what she has, and she can use that now. And I'll describe that when I get back. So give me just a minute. We'll be right back, and I want to talk about that. And I'm going to play her little short promo I did in front of her restaurant. And we're hoping to do some more of those soon with others. We're kind of working on that. And then I'll hope also we'll bring back up the monkey business in Bainbridge. Kind of update there. There's some news in that front, and I'm hoping to touch base with those folks this week. Well, guaranteed we're going to do that. They want to. We want to. It's just a busy day weekend. That may happen today. And another place that I'm reaching out, I'm going to reach back out to today that I contacted through their web. Don't know if they got that. I'm going to call them today, but we'll be right back. Hey, this is Dave with the Southern Fried Podcast. Please join us each Wednesday evening as we go live for Hump Day News, where we talk about a little bit of everything. We'll laugh a little bit. We'll tell you a little bit of sports news and other news that's going on. Each Wednesday evening at 7 p.m., join us for the SFP Hump Day News live. You're midweek, making your way through another work week. Join us, and we'll try to make you laugh a little bit and keep your day a little brighter. Hey, this is Dave with the Southern Fried Podcast. One of the favorite things that we do is sit out on the front porch with a glass of sweet tea and just talk about whatever. That's what you do on the front porch, wave at the neighbors as they go by, or even a stranger. We're friendly people, and we like to just talk about whatever. You never know what Rob and Dave are going to talk about on the front porch, and sometimes Chris joins us, and then you really don't know what we're going to talk about. We'll laugh a little bit, we'll shock each other, and maybe, just maybe, you'll join in with us and chat with us on the front porch. Join us live for Front Porch Talking each Friday night at 7 p.m. That's your friends here at the Southern Fried Podcast. Hey, this is Dave with the Southern Fried Podcast. As part of our Main Street program, we're highlighting businesses in small-town America. This week, we're interviewing Angie from Angie's Decatur Diner. Tune in to hear her interview. Here at the Southern Fried Podcast, one of the blessed things we've been able to do is partner with the wonderful people at Animal Rescue Alliance, Inc., ARA. These folks are a no-kill shelter in Donaldsonville, Georgia. You see the contact info on the screen. And these folks would love to have you come adopt a dog or a cat. They have folks that come from all over the United States, not just the state of Georgia. They're great folks. It's been a wonderful partnership between Southern Fried Podcast and ARA. And we've been blessed to meet some of the folks that have adopted animals from ARA. Also, we've been able to encourage people to donate and volunteer. They encourage volunteers that are in the area, and they're just wonderful people. We'd love for you to contact them, meet them too, go on their website, see some of the animals, and we know you'll want to partner with them too by taking a dog or a cat to their forever home. Join with us, the Southern Fried Podcast, in support of this great work of the Animal Rescue Alliance, Inc., ARA. We know you'll be happy you did. I know we are. And we're back. Let me get everything pulled back up here. I did want to give an update. The group that we're with, Stand Up Bainbridge, Georgia, they're against the monkey business there, Stop the Monkey Business. They're having a community prayer night tonight at the Willis Park Gazebo there in Bainbridge at 5:30. So we're hoping to talk to them today or tomorrow. But we've been talking with them in their site. If you would like to follow them, we'll just look through our things, and we'll try to post something about this. It's basically Stand Up Bainbridge, Georgia, a call to action. It's a public group, and you can go join that. And it'll give you updates on this is on Facebook. And it's the top of it. I don't know if you can see this, is Stop the Monkey Farm. So we'll give them a little plug this morning. But yeah, so, and then there's another site that I joined called Stand Up Bainbridge. It may be a part of the same group. No monkey breeding in Bainbridge. This is a big group too. And oops, let's see if I can get that it's a hard screen to do. It's all white, so you may not be able to see that. I'm sorry. Leading to more color there, but standupbainbridgega.com. And these folks are great, and they're just trying to, stand up against those things. And we want to give them a shout out. They're going to be on the program. They're going to come talk about monkey breeding and Bainbridge, Georgia. Angie's down there in Decatur, Tennessee. Miss Angie Moore. I hope you saw her interview with us, and she. This is what I wanted to mention. It's not really about us, other than it's just what we can offer. I follow them every day, and one of the ladies had commented. One of their customers had commented off of a comment I made up there, and she was talking about just really a great plug. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better comment from your customers than this lady had given her about what great people they are. They're new to the area, how they've made them feel welcome, the food, the environment, all the things we talked about. We didn't make that up. I mean, I've been there, I've experienced that, and really we worked for over 2 months to get that together because of her busy schedule. We just held that out there. We held that promo. I think it was almost 2 months. I mean, or maybe more. We did that promo on a holiday. My son helped me with that, and that one you saw. And then over 2 months later, we did the interview. I was really committed to that. However long it took, we were going to get that. Well, anyway, I made a comment, and then because we just sent that to her so she can use it. However, she posted that interview with us on her page, and that's the beauty of it. And that's what I tell them. Yesterday, I was talking to some of the vendors, and there was another one I wanted to get on there, and I like them. In fact, if you watch the interview, or not the interview, but if you watch the little quick one I did with the kids, the granddaughters, that was the business, and I think the guy might have been a little camera shy, but he was the owner, him and his wife, and they run a couple of trucks, maybe 3. I know they run 2 for sure. And he said, we already pay for all that advertising. He said, we got this thing we do, and we pay that. And I said, yeah, but you pay for it, right? He goes, well, yeah, we pay for that. I said, this is free. He was like, stunned him a little bit. He's like, what? They're not used to that. And I said, listen, I don't know if it'll help or not, but we believe in small business, people out here working hard to make a living and, getting it done. And we want to be a help to you. And if you give me 20 or 30 seconds, you'll have a soundbite that you can use to plug for your business however you want. I'll post it. I'll send it to you. And he said, well, wait till my wife gets back. And she's more of the person in front of the camera, but never was able to see her there. So I think they were doing shifts, and I had to leave before she got back. So we missed the opportunity. Would have loved to have got some more. Some of them were very busy. People lined up. You can't do those. But you saw the one with Sweet Treats. And I got to say, that young lady, um, she was a worker there. And I think, I don't know if the guy that was in the background was the owner or not. She was real. I said, "Oh, I've never done it like that. I don't know if I can do it." If you watch that, she's perfect. She's got a real photogenic way about her. She just shines. Her face just shines, and she did an amazing job just going through all those things. And she went over to our. I loaded it. I was steps away and loaded that up, and she went there and liked it. So I said, you're good at it. I felt like she had done it before. She said she had, and I thought, well, you are too. But that's something they can use, and we would have loved to have done more because I know how it is. You're trying to, they go to these things, they pay money, they get into them, and you're just trying to keep your brand out there. Plus, you're trying to get invited to more stuff. These companies, and they do employee get-togethers and stuff, or community events like that. It's not always. Sometimes there's a limit on how many they will bring in, and plus, that was a big event. There were quite a few vendors, and I hope they all made money. I do. It's hard work. I admire them for what they do. That was a 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. event. That's a long day. That's a long day. If you've ever been a part of anything like that, and according to how busy you are, sometimes business is great and you run out. But I admire them for what they do. Because if you're going to run a food truck or of any kind or something like that, the days of running up down the road, that's not where it's at. And you can't just go to businesses and set up unless you're invited. So you have to get into all those things, and it's a fight. And if there's bad weather or something, or the event just crashes and people don't show up, you're losing money. So, but there is money to be made if you're willing to work hard, and or they wouldn't be there. But they have to have a permit just like any other business. So they're inspected by the health inspector. They're paying for their business license. They're paying taxes. They got a vehicle, so they're paying. You got the tags and the insurance and all that on that. The fuel, the entrance fee, and so you got to have a certain amount of volume to make that work. So I like doing stuff like that for people. I think it's neat. Yeah, if we were doing, there might come a point where we say, wow, we'd have to do a whole separate thing just for infomercials. That's fine. I'll do it. It doesn't matter to me. And we would be as fair about as we could when we play those and stuff. But these that have allowed us and been here with us in the beginning, they're like a charter member in my book. So Angie's always going to be a part. As long as that business is there, she's always welcome. We'll help her in any way we can. And there's some others. There's a small business in down where Rob's at, and it's been really busy for them. Total different kind of business, not a restaurant. And we're going to do a spot with them and try to help them along. And there's 2 or 3 others in the works. We're just trying to find the time and get it to where we can do it. But small business is, thousands close every day, I'm sure. And one we're trying to work with now, and they follow us, is the McBride's bookstore over in Trenton, Georgia. And their business has increased. They're reaching out, and a lot of people have been really good about forwarding that out. And we're hoping to do a spot with them soon. But I don't mind saying it's McBride's bookstore there in Trenton, Georgia. I don't have it in front of me for the address, but Trenton's not that big, and you should be able to find it if you're in the North Georgia area. Go over there and go over there and find them and see if you can find a book or something and give them a little business. I'm going over there one day this week. Last week was just too busy. This week's not as bad, I don't think, and we're going to get over there and do some business, slide some business their way. And by the way, the businesses I approached yesterday, we did business with them. I wouldn't do that, even though I'm offering free. I respect what they're doing. So at the one we didn't get the spot with, you saw that they were having their flavored ice or whatever. And the other one, Sweet Treats, the kids, I went up there because at the time there was nobody standing there. So it's a great time. and the kids saw some, they had some kid stuff up there, and of course we bought that. So I try to frequent. I'm this way about business, especially small business. You're traveling and you go in a store, even to use the restroom. I try to buy something. I do, because there's still a cost there. I mean, think about it, all the water and stuff. And so it would be a rare occurrence. We would just be in such a hurry we didn't have time. But we always buy something. If it's to go back and get us both a 20-ounce drink, or to buy some, my wife might want some bubble gum, or what, we always try to do that, because I know, it's just critical that you have sales, and the margin is so small. Even though I know some of that stuff's marked up, I know that they don't have the volume though, and it is called a convenience store. Until the lottery came around, a lot of them, the convenience was you could go in and out really quick. That's not as Around here, that's not the way it is anymore. A lot of times you're not able to just get in and out of a place like you used to, but still, whether it's chains or not or whatever it is, um, it's still a local business, and I still try to do that. So especially those small ones you go into and you're using their facilities, buy something. Don't take, it's not that much out of your money, and it's not much out of your time. In fact, one could be doing that while the other one's using the restroom or whatever, and then you flip, and you provide them a little business. And you know what? They appreciate that. They see that. They see what, because they're going to offer that as a service, so that people coming in off the highway or whatever will do, frequent them. But hopefully that sales will be there. So it's got to. I get it. And even if I don't need something, the kiddo is going to see something and want it, so I'll end up buying it. And another 2 hours down the road, it'll be another place, or however long you can get. And once we've established a place that we kind of go to, and we know, and it's clean and it's good, and the customer service is great and all that, we're coming back. So we're traveling. As a matter of fact, my wife and my granddaughter have said, "Hey, are we going to stop at that one store? Because I really like this that they had." And they get repeat business out of us. So it's a win-win for both. We get a place that we like to pull off to, that's clean and accessible and safe, and they get business. And so, yeah. And I just think it's important. You got to think that way. You got to think that way about stuff like that. I saw this video yesterday, and it kind of brought to my mind as I was mentioning that. I just want to throw this out there. And today, I know people are struggling today, and there's a lot of varied opinions about it. And I'm not taking a hardline stance either way, but the idea of, if you pull through a drive-through, some drive-throughs, they'll have you sign the thing, and it has an opportunity, either have a tip jar or a way for you to put that on the ticket. And some people are dead set against any kind of a tip for something that they're passing through a window. Some people say, "Hey, I'm going to help them. They're not making that much money, and I want to help them." How do you feel about that? Just pop in the chat, or pop us something in the email. But just think on that today. What do you think about that? It's not. I always may have been there, but it wasn't as pronounced as it is today, and you see that a lot more. In fact, some of them they'll pass you the device. You put your card in, and it has it on there, and you don't have to, but a lot of people will make, they will make, or not make, but they will give a tip on that. It's just interesting. Another one is people get really mad at, like, some of your self-checkouts, because they've rung it up and checked it and, did the whole deal. They don't like it that the people at the door are checking their receipt. On that one, I will say, I get it. You want somebody there to help you if you're doing the work. Why do I have to do that? Well, but it's because of theft, and I'm sorry. And there are businesses that have closed down because the theft is so high. In fact, one close to me, I heard, is closing down due to massive theft. And it's a little rough area, and that's unfortunate. That hurts everybody. And so it doesn't bother me. And I know those, one of the places I even work with, those are great folks. They're just doing a job, and they're very kind people, and they get talked to like they're, like we say, they get talked to like they're a dog sometimes, and that's not right to do another human being like that. Or they just get smart with them, or they have an attitude, or say something. Are we done now? Or something? Come on. You know what? Keep your negativity, as me and Paul were talking about last night about, words have power, and don't be negative. Don't be negative like that. Don't treat another human being like that. Even if they're not the nicest, even if they're, teenager, there's no reason to treat people like that. And these are professional people. Sometimes I see. Sometimes it's more so that than the others, sadly. Uh, there we go. See here. I used to get in the tips in the tire business. Okay, sometimes farmers would in vegetables. I believe in tips if they're trying to do a good job. It depends on the service. Okay, fair enough. I get it. But that's nice. It's always nice. If you've been on both sides of that, you really understand that what that feels like. Somebody, if it was vegetables or whatever, that's great. Hey, here you go. Hey, it all works, right? It's all good. Somebody give you some maters or some corn or something like that. It's just a nice feeling, and any of that I can be a part of, I like. I have pulled up to drive-throughs, and when I had extra money on me, sometimes I don't carry them, and I would pay them, and I would, I'd just tell them. They would come back with a change, and I'd say, whatever's left's for you. And they see that sometimes. They don't see that a lot. It really stuns them, and they're like, well, thank you very much, Or I have seen people give some money and say, how many of you working in there? Well, there's 4 of us or 3 of us or whatever. And just have an equal amount. Here you go. That's for all of you. I'll split that up equally. And they'll turn around. You'll see them. They'll say, hey, we all got a tip. I think that's cool. Oh, man. That's fresh sausage and beef. Now we're talking. So that's a good kind of tip right there. I'll take that. Better believe it. Bring on that sausage, baby, and that beef. I like that. Awesome. It just feels good for somebody to, I guess it does something inside. It just makes you feel good. You know what? Sometimes $1 is not much, but if a lot of people do it, it adds up. But I think it's more than that. What if at the end of the day, everybody got an extra $5 or $6 or whatever? Well, that buys them maybe a bag of chips and a Coke or something, or they take it home and give it to their kiddos. Most of them got kids. Kid needs some extra money for school. Oh, hey, here, by the way, we had some tips today. And then but even on top of that, it's just what they feel in here. That no matter how much it was, yeah, I did like that. No matter how much it was, that it meant that somebody took the time to think about you. And that's cool. I will say this, and we're about out of time this morning, and I'm a firm believer in this. Now, you leave tracks a lot of places, but if you're in a restaurant and you're going to leave a track for the waitress, don't leave that track unless you're going to leave a tip. Really, just put it inside the track. Leave them a little nice note on there too. Thanks for the great service. If it was great, smiley face, whatever. You want them to read the track. They may already be a Christian. They may not be. I always tell them, if you're already a Christian, and sometimes they're busy, you don't have a chance to talk to them. I'll talk to them and ask them. If they're not, I'll give them that. But if not, it's they got a tip, and they may take time to read that or pass it along. I did too, Tar Man. I did get some really good ones there way back in the day. This is amazing. Back in the day, we're talking 1980, 81. I could bring home $80 a week in tips. Easy. Hustling, man. Hustling. That's a lot of money, plus the check. Back in the 80s, think about that. Or 80, think about that. That's a pretty good amount of money. Sometimes more, sometimes a little less. Depends how the business is going and what night you work. But on a Friday, Saturday, you could really, that's all that business. You could hustle. The best tippers for me were on Sunday morning. Believe it or not, I got more dollar tips on Sunday morning from the church, the wonderful church ladies that come in, than any other day. Most of the time it was, back in those days, it'd be a quarter, 50 cents, a little bit of change they had. But Sunday morning was the best. The best tip I ever had was $20. And that's a lot back then. Think about it. It was a lady who, only come and got groceries once a month. Her husband was needed full-time help, and she would get somebody to watch him, and she would come by. And so she'd have a lot of groceries. And I remember when she came through, some of the guys were joking and said, "Hey, Cordell, this is yours. Enjoy that. You're going to be out there, stuck out there forever while we're making tips." I took them all. I didn't try to be like that. I don't want to be like that. So if I took whoever came up, I took the ones they were on food stamps and struggling, and to the ones who were wealthy. It didn't matter to me. They're a person. You're doing business. But anyway, I took this lady's groceries out, and it was 2 full buggies. And I ended up being out there for probably 15, 20 minutes because it took time to load it all in. And then she just wanted to talk for a second, and she's appreciated, She didn't really ever get to talk to anybody. Think about it. She was always at home taking care of her husband. So this was her chance to get out and kind of talk, kind of get away for a little bit. And she thanked me at the end for the nice conversation and the service and all that, and handed me a $20 tip. So I put that in my pocket. I got back in. Other guys were giving me a hard time. "Oh yeah, man, look, she held you down for 30 minutes or something, and they were really getting on me. And I wasn't going to say anything about it. I'm not a braggart, never have been. And they were going on, and they said, "Yeah, you didn't get no tip off that." And I just didn't say nothing. And they just kept on and on and on. And I said, "Yeah, she did." I said, "Oh, what, 50 cents, And I said, "No, actually, she gave me a $20 bill." And they called me a liar. "Oh, you're lying. That didn't happen. That lady, she didn't do that." So I had to pull it out, show it to them, and their mouths fell open. I did that for her, not for me. And I said, and I told them, and for them. And I told them, I said, "You know what she wanted? She wanted somebody to listen to her. And you guys weren't willing to do it. That's why I got the $20 bill." And I said, "You need to think about that." I said, "You guys, every day, all you do is you try to, you know who tips well, and y'all fight over them." I said, "Sometimes you're judging people." I said, "Why don't you just treat everybody the same?" And of course, they didn't always do that, but maybe I taught them a life lesson. I don't know. We're about out of time this morning. Again, with Dave in the AM. Meandered along. Rob will be back tomorrow morning. We'll be back together. Back together again. Don't know if we're doing anything tonight live. Possibility. Let me see here. We got here a little comment here. Mrs. Tench from John always tipped good, and Coach, she had 5 boys and usually 3 buggies. Only made $1.95 an hour. You remember that stuff, right, brother? You absolutely remember that stuff. We may be on tonight, or I may be on. I'm not sure. There's a possibility. There might be the merging. Our first Southern talk might be tonight. I'm not sure yet. Certainly Thursday, I think that's going to happen. But we'll definitely be back Wednesday for double shows. Hump Day News, always crazy. And then the morning show with Rob. And we may be putting out a special video that Rob has. We'll see about that. We got some exciting things, I think, coming up, really powerful things as we just outreach, and we're getting connections and networking with a lot of people. And again, like I said, we're going to be talking to the folks at about the monkey farm and the breeding farm and all that stuff. So that's going to happen pretty this week. And got some other things, as we say, in the cooker. They're not ready to serve yet, but we're trying to get them there. And days are busy. We got jobs to do, and some things Robert handles because he's at home during the day, and I'll check in when I can. Do a lot of things in the evening, but we're working on it. We appreciate your faithful watching, and anybody that watches this in the days to come on all the streams. And y'all continue to keep us in your prayers, and we'll pray for you. Have a great day out there. I got to go get the kiddo to school and get on to work. Good day, and God bless. And let me do my outro here.
Well, once again, it's time, my friends, for another meet and greet. We're Southern Fried and nationwide, so hang on to your seat. Look around, here's what I found. I guess you'll never know what you'll see on the Southern Fried Podcast.